Testing 1, 2.
They probably got told by Victoria, like, shut.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Round 13 of the NPLW Victoria season continues here. Saturday afternoon action from Cross Keys Reserve. It is the 6th place Essendon Royals up against 8th place Box Hill United. It was to be a cracking contest. It is the debut, of course, of Devin Jackson, who was signed a couple of weeks ago for Essendon Royals, but it's going to be a fantastic game. Michael Thompson is my name, and joining me for the game this afternoon, it's one of the youngest, but probably one of the most brilliant tactical minds in women's football, but also football in general. I do speak of Jono Clemente. Jono, good to be with you for this one. The right-hand man of Jeff Hopkins.
Thanks for having me, mate. Looking forward to this contest.
Starting 11 for both sides. Starting in goals for the Essendon Royals, Zara Board. Michaela Juric, of course, is the captain. Rebecca Van Dort, Sasha Coy, Devin Jackson debuting today for the Essendon Royals. She's starting on the park. Ari Fujiwara, Kobe Wilburn, Amy Parkinson, Olivia Wood in game number 2. Kendra Smith and Alana Soon for the Essendon Royals. And on the bench for the Royals is Emma Langley, Mia Lanteri Bartley, Betty Michael, Emily Harvest, Renee Pocock, and Diana Fonalico. Of course, the coach is Vince Battiato in his 4th season as coach. And then on the other side, the away side for Box Hill United, Teresa Morrissey is in goals this afternoon for Box Hill United. She'll be paired alongside Josie Olicino, Olivia Ellis, the captain, Zoe Hudson, Karina Rossi, Katie Cox, Sophia Poliwada, Sienna Chichera, Holly Murray, Georgina Caparidis, and of course Sophia Sakalis is the same level for the Box Hill United. And the subs for Box Hill are Natasha Stathopoulos, Gabrielle Simpson, Sarah Pekaris, Victoria Zekas, and Nicolina Bacalo. And they're in 8th position at the moment. But Jono, as we mentioned off air, it's probably one of those games where it can go either way. Both sides have been very competitive this season, but Essendon, the last sort of 3 to 4 weeks, have shown a lot of ticker.
Yeah, for sure, mate. So I think Essendon Royals the last couple of weeks, they know to grind results. A little bit unlucky against Heidelberg in previous weeks also. So always good against the top teams. And this Box Hill team is just oozing with new A-League talent as well. So it's always interesting this time of year. The NPLW, half the league pretty much changes. It gets flipped on its head. So be interesting to see how the new A-League girls blend in for this one.
As we're underway here at Cross Keys Reserve, of course, the officials today, Angelique Casalis is our match official. Our first assistant referee is Alexander Casalis. Our assistant referee 2 is Giselle Spezza. And our 4th official who'll be giving up the boards will be Jordan Spezzas. We are underway in this one. Rebecca Van Dort to throw the ball back in here for Essendon. Of course, the last time I was out here at Cross Keys Reserve, Essendon took on South Melbourne in the Coveney Cucina Cup and won that one against South Melbourne, giving South Melbourne their first loss of season 2025 in what was a dominant display in both the first and second half of this game. And a couple of players in particular too, Jono, that I was really impressed with in that game playing on the park right now. Sasha Coy is one in particular who I spoke a bit of praises about. She came from Adelaide United originally. I'll hold that thought really quickly. It's Katie Cox on the right-hand side, tries to lob it inside there for Cara Paredes, who gets herself going yet again inside the 18-yard box, but it's cleared away here by Essendon. But, yeah, someone like Sasha Coy coming into the side and a couple of A-League players in particular, but the way she's been able to really attack the front third this season has been a thing of beauty for Sasha Coy.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a player who's piqued my interest in a short time here at Essendon Royals so far. Lots of energy in the midfield, and especially on a small ground like this, her energy and her attitude and application to kind of do the dirty side of the midfield and winning tackles, but also her ability to go forward has been a massive attribute for the Royals player so far this season.
And you also mentioned the praises of Teresa Morrissey, who you know really, really well. In goals this afternoon, Natasha Stathopoulos has done a fantastic job in goals this season for Box Hill United, but good to see Teresa Morrissey behind the sticks this afternoon for Box Hill.
Yeah, that's just another A-League talent coming to the NPL Victoria. I think over the last 2 or 3 seasons, the NPL Victoria has kind of made its name as probably being the strongest in the country, and you can see with the A-League girls, as soon as they finish their season, they want to play in this competition, which is good for everyone.
So we're 2.5 minutes gone into this one. Still nil between Essendon and Box Hill. Just a couple of other games too, which have piqued our interest too, in particular for you too. Heidelberg Bentley, which should be a cracker game a little bit later on this afternoon.
Yeah, Heidelberg Bentley's a good game. Heidelberg are absolutely flying now for a good friend of mine, Sven Samuel and Dennis at the helm there. So shout out to those two coaches. But they're also versing Dario Simonic, who's a new coach there at Bentley, who was Sven's assistant and Dennis' assistant for this season. So a little bit of friendly rivalry there. And Bentley Greens have also signed, I believe, 11 or 12 new players. So let's see if they blend in time for them to get 3 points today.
This Box Hill through ball is really nice here for Karina Rossi. She's going to be out sprinted here by, of course, Alana Cern, who spent time at Western United this season in the A-League Women's under Kat Smith. And hopefully can continue her A-League Women's career, hopefully either Western United or there'll be a lot of other clubs that would have looked at her talents over the course of season 24-25. And because she didn't get much game time, didn't get many minutes of what she probably would have loved to at Western United this season, but did make her minutes count under Kat Smith in, of course, the Ninja A-League Women's season this season, Jono.
Yeah, Alana Cern is a fantastic footballer. I sing her praises most weeks. Was so instrumental that Calder side that was so dominant for many, many years. And I was actually a bit surprised that she's back in the NPLW, but it's good for the fans, it's good for the league. As Box Hill attacking down the left side here, hold that thought. We reach for company. Good little bit of skill there. Cuts back inside. Numbers in the box. Gets past her. She gets a shot away. Sakala's top of the box. And Sasha Curry to clear here for Essendon. Wood. Yeah, as we're saying, Alana Cern definitely such a mainstay in that Calder team. Was so successful, and she was also Western United's inaugural signing, which can't be forgotten about as well. So obviously high praises for her from a youngster, and good to see her back in the league and playing consistently.
Absolutely. Teresa Morrissey picks up the ball and she'll throw it now into the back third here for Box Hill United, who of course are 4-3-5 on the season in 8th position. Essendon 6 wins, 1 draw and 5 losses for the season. So again, really, really close. And that's another thing too that we mentioned off there too, Jono, just how tight the NPLW Victoria season has been this season too. Like we've seen the likes of South Melbourne, Heidelberg really dominate, but there's been the likes of course, Bulleen, Essendon, even Box Hill there, and Bentley, like they're starting to really now be a couple of the teams that you could look out for and look at the cream of the crop and go, gee, you know, these guys could potentially compete against the likes of Heidelberg and South Melbourne down the stretch.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's exciting. I think it's been the closest that the league has been for many years, which is exciting. I think coupled with the fact that a lot of the A-League talent are now coming back into the league. But this season, I feel like they've actually been spread out across the leagues. In years gone by, as probably just Heidelberg, Bulleen and South who get all the A-League players and the rest kind of get no one. And, you know, the best get better and the worst get kind of keep the same. And it's hard to get a kind of momentum going from there. But this season, it's a lot more even spread out. Even teams like Alamein, you know, John Kyrgios has done a fantastic job there. You know, his time before that at Burundara with not much budget. He did well. We've made finals, you know, in his first season, and Alamein is on course to do it again, and just beat Preston last night. So lots of smaller teams on paper doing good things this year, which is good for the league.
Absolutely, and it's good to see Alamein over the last couple of seasons too continue to grow as a football side and be a lot more competitive from when they first started in the NPLW Victoria side, which is really good to see for them. As Box will bring it through midfields. Ball with Holly Murray, and ball goes out of touch. He'll stay with Box Hill in the throw-in. Here on this far broadcast side of Cross Keys Reserve. And, of course, this is the first of a double-header. Essendon Royals men are playing at 6 p.m. this afternoon, too. So there's a massive double-header, and there'll be a lot of people, no doubt, who are Royals fans will be sticking around for the men's game a little bit later on as the men play in the VPL 1 competition a little bit later on tonight. Here's Rossi, dueling with Van Dort, lost it. Sasha Coy goes through really nicely there. Through ball was a fantastic. Wilbur was the intended target. Found Olivia Ellis instead for Box Hill. Possession stays here with Essendon through Parkinson. Now on this far touch side. Through ball is fantastic. Trying to go inside there. Good lob over the top. Originally there from Olivia Wood was trying to find Fujiwara. And Box Hill able to sort of clear it away for the time being. A little bit of a zone in the back third. Good dispossession there on a bit of a run, but that ball will lob inside the 18-yard box and easy enough there for Zarbord to pick the pieces on that one in their bread basket. And Essendon might keep possession here. They do. Now with Kobe Wilbert. We touched over there for Parkinson. Now for Devin Jackson, the debutant for Essendon today. Of course, the New Zealand international. Trying to go inside the box. Both Olivia Wood and Sasha Coy. Might be chancing now for Fujiwara. Can she keep her footing there? She can't. Ball goes out of touch, and it will be the first corner of the game going the way of the Royals here, Jono.
Yeah, good little passage of play there from Essendon Royals. Something they did quite well last week as well was just using their fullbacks, especially Parkinson on the far side here. The Royals right back just getting forward their third player run and results to first corner of the game.
Of course, Fujiwara being a fantastic stalwart and for the Essendon Royals this season. Of course, the Japanese international. She kicks the ball in for the corner. And Box Hill will now clear the way from that corner kick. Done nicely there by Sakalis. Through midfield. She's going to get the ball back here on this right-hand side of Sophia Sakalis. What could Box Hill do on this run? It's been a fantastic piece of possession here from Box Hill. Fortunately, not the desired effect, and that ball will go out to touch, and it will stay with Box Hill. But again, a really good run from someone you know really well, Jono, and Sophia Sakalis there, and that was a nice through ball there through midfield. It
just goes to show, you add quality into any team, especially a team like Box Hill, adding a player like Sophia Sakalis, and a little moment like that in transition, and it can turn to something. Great first touch from Soph, going towards the line. He just couldn't find the target in the end, but good to see her playing and getting some consistent minutes because she's been such a talented player in this league for many years now, so it'd be good to see her how she progresses for Box Hill.
Ball back with Zara Board, who was again phenomenal in that win against South Melbourne, I called a couple of weeks ago, and it's been really good behind the sticks for the Royals in season 2025. Cleared away here by Kendra Smith. Now on the run here for Olivia Woods. Finds Devin Jackson. So the second gamer to the first gamer here for Essendon. Jackson in a bit of trouble there. Had to do with Holly Murray, but stays with Essendon as they throw it inside now for Olivia Woods. She got dispossessed nicely, and Box Hill clear away yet again, only for the time being. Stays in midfield for Alana Cern. Van Dort. Good pass there for Sasha Coy. Now on this left-hand side for the Royals. Van Dort through midfield again. Cern trying to find a teammate. And yet found a wall of white in Box Hill. Caraparitas couldn't juggle it. And could not control that one. Stays with Alana Cern. And ahead into their back third now do Essendon through Zara Board. Now Wilbert. Now for Jackson. She's done really well so far, Devin Jackson. Ball goes out of touch and for Essendon. And this is good for Vince Battiato too, in particular, to give Devin Jackson her first stripes. Of course, her first game this afternoon. It's part of those three major signings for the Royals only a couple of weeks ago. We've seen, of course, Olivia Wood and Alana Cern. This is their second game for the Royals in season 2025. But having a New Zealand international like Devin Jackson in the team, who, of course, has had a bit of NPLW experience herself. She's had A-League experience, was on the Newcastle Jets list this past season. So she's got a lot to bring to the table for the Royals in the second half of the season. Yeah, for sure. I thought... transition moment here for the Royals. 2v1. Oof, good block there from Box Hill. Devin Jackson has definitely grown into this competition. Last year she was at Box Hill. As Box Hill played through here. Down the left side. Can she keep it in? Assistant referee says she can't at this stage. Devin Jackson, she came to this league last year with Box Hill, fresh off her Canberra United stint, where I thought she did okay, and she's kind of growing into the Ninja A-League. Then she went to Newcastle, and again, I think a real positive step forward for her career in the A-League, and just showing her quality as a footballer. So exciting to see her back in the NPL Victoria, and definitely will no doubt add some pace and power up front for Royals today. Of course, she knows the head coach, Bobby Dravkovsky, very, very well from her time last year as Box Hill get possession back, but it's been cut off here from Essendon, only for the time being. They'll keep possession here now through Caraparitas for Box Hill. She's trying to go for a long ball there inside the box from about 25 yards out. It's cut away here nicely here from Essendon. Van Dort through the middle now for Fujiwara. She's been dispossessed, and again, Box Hill zoning up really well this time through midfield, and they're going to reset from the back here through Zoe Hudson, who finds Olecino. Back to Hudson. And Box Hill just observing their back third perimeter for the time being, as they retain possession in the early goings of this first half. 13 minutes gone. Still nil all here. Cross keys reserved between Essendon and Box Hill. Chichera. Good pass there for Katie Cox. Back to Olicino. Passing back into the box now for Teresa Morrissey. And Box Hill just doing a really good job, and probably a really smart idea too, John, just to slow the pace down just a little bit too, because we know that Essendon can be a fast-paced team at the best of the times and can hurt you on the counter-attack, and that's what Box Hill are doing. Is they're now trying to clear through again through midfield, but not to be. This time around they will get it. They do it through Karina Rossi. Chance here for Box Hill to go inside for Carparitas. A bit too much may on that lob ball inside the box there, and they'll head over the byline for a goal kick here for Essendon. But it's probably smart play there in the early goings there for Box Hill just to slow the pace down, because Essendon can be that fast-paced team that can hurt on transition.
Yeah, very good from Box Hill there just to manage the moments. The game was getting a little bit transitional in that last patch, and something that Royals did well last week against Brunswick Juve was kind of a aggressive press in a 4-4-2, and they were kind of showing teams inside, and Brunswick Juve kind of struggled to play out against that. So I think smart approach from Box Hill, just to assess the situation and see how they can progress and kind of hurt them in behind, which would be good to see. Good battle so far from both coaches and both teams.
Well, because they are touching in, Essendon's throwing in their back third. Olivia Wood keeping it in there with Sasha Corey. Ball back here now with Zoe Hudson for Box Hill. Passes back now for Teresa Morrissey. And they're doing a good job, Box Hill again, just sort of slowing the pace down just a little bit. And their last possession was fantastic. Couldn't net a goal, but nonetheless was fantastic nonetheless for Box Hill. And they'll get the opportunity again here through Sophia Sakalis, who's having to deal with Kobe Wilberts. And did well. There was Wilbert to get the ball back there for Essendon. Chance to go on a little bit of a run, but not to face Teresa Morrissey in the slightest. And I think also with the growth of both of these teams too, Essendon, who showed a lot of ticket. They played finals last season. Box Hill, they've got a really good gaffer for themselves, but they've really grown, and they want to try and hopefully play finals this season too. But it just shows the maturity of both sides, not only last season but this season too, just how they've been able to go. As ball chance here now for Carparitas, blocked away nicely there by Zara Board. Was unorthodox, but it worked. Van Dort gets on the back end of that one to find Zara Board. Wasn't a bad run there from Carparitas, but when a keeper does that though, Jono, it's a bit of a scare tactic a little bit too. It's just unorthodox there from Zara Board, but thankfully she had Rebecca Van Dort there to help in the back end. Yeah,
a bit of heart and mouth stuff there from Essendon Royals. No doubt Vince will be shaking a bit. That one, I'm not sure how the heart pressure and the heart rate will be after that, but it's out of the back of the net, so that's the most important thing. I think some interesting points here from Box Hill as well. Sienna Teixeira, who's the youngster from Melbourne Victory, I know quite well. She's an attacker. I thought she was probably their best attacker last week. She's actually playing fullback today. So I'm not too sure if they've had some outs or just to try and shuffle things around to get their best players on the park. But it'll be interesting to see if they lose her attacking threat and if it actually costs them going forward today.
Absolutely, and of course on the bench for Box Hill, a couple of players who can really sort of make a bit of an impact if they need to is, of course, Nicolina Bukala and Victoria Seekers, who have made a couple of impact plays. Normally in their starting 11, but staying on the bench this afternoon though, Jono.
Yep, shows the quality that the Box Hill have now just after this transfer window, as most teams do now. They've got the luxury of having some good players coming off the bench to make an impact. They'll be hoping hopefully it doesn't come to that and they can be a little bit more comfortable, but how the game's proceeded so far, it's definitely been an arm wrestle. There's a quick throw in from Box Hill. Well dealt with Kendra Smith. Second chance at it though, Van Dort to clear, and she does so well. But yeah, it's been a bit of an arm wrestle so far from both teams. Tactically, both sides being a little bit cagey, not giving too much away. So I think this will be a game that's decided by moments. And Box Hill will have some big moment players like Sophia Sakalis. So we'll see what happens.
And likewise, of course, Essendon have the same thing too. Emma Langley, Mia Lantieri Bartley are two other players who normally are in the starting 11, but of course, starting on the bench this afternoon, they're ones that can also make a massive impact. As I mentioned to you off air too, calling this game a couple of weeks ago against South Melbourne, Mia Lane Terry Bartley really caused a lot of headaches for South's front third, and we know that she can cause a bit of headaches. So if it does get to a point where it's still a stalemate, or maybe if it Box Hill's maybe a goal up, don't be surprised if Mia Lane Terry Bartley's Zara Board tries to get it out, and a bit of miscommunication there between her and Alana Stern. But yeah, Mia Lane Terry Bartley might be an X factor coming off the bench, I think, for Essendon this afternoon, because she can cause headaches for any forwards in the competition.
Yeah, for sure. I think she's had. She's still young in the competition, but she's played so many NPLW games over time. Zakala's top of the box here. Can Box Hill do something with this? Looking to go 1v1, go towards the byline, gets a cross in. Zakala's the target. Kobe couldn't clear, and it'll be a Box Hill corner on the far side. First one of the day for Box Hill. But yeah, definitely Mia Lantabell. I call her MLB. We're not too close, but she said I'm allowed to call her a nickname because her full name cooks me sometimes. A bit of a tongue twister for me, so MLB, I'm going to go with that. But yeah, she's been around the league for so many years, so definitely a good player to have in the squad.
Quick corner kick is good here for Box Hill. Crosses inside. Headed away nicely there from Essendon. Rossi. The Box Hill retain possession. And they're going to go again inside. Cross was not bad there. Kendra Smith headers away nicely outside the 18-yard box. Gets possession back, and Essendon clear it away. Only for the foot there of Olivia Els, the captain of Box Hill. Again, good opportunity for Box Hill, and even better defensively there from Essendon to try and clear it away, because a couple of players there for Box Hill in particular that you don't want to get on the back end of that one. But it was well done there by Essendon to sort of clear the box there and now retain possession.
Yeah, Royals are a very stubborn team defensively, and I think it's a very calm and composed centre-back partnership. So it's the first time that they've played together in Juric and Cern, but I think that's two very good, composed footballers. I think Michaela Juric probably doesn't get the credit that she deserves in this Royals team. And she's onside here. Oh, no, she's not. I'm lying. Nearly a chance there for Essendon Royals, but as I was saying, the two centre-back partnership at Essendon Royals is very calm and composed, and I think that makes their team so stubborn and so hard to score against, which is definitely, I think when I look at Royals, I think of them as, they're good on their counter and they can score goals, but I think defensively they are quite solid and well organised. Offside
rule there in favour of Box Hill. Good positioning there from Alexander Casales, first assistant referee. He's in the right place at the right time there. Polly Warder through midfield. Almost found Devin Jackson there from Essendon, but brought back to the footing there of Alice, now to Hudson. Back now to Olivia Alice through midfield, trying to go through again to Karaparidis. Couldn't do so. Cleared away nicely again from Essendon. Headed away beautifully there from Hudson. Now for Olacino. One-on-one here. Karaparidis again. She's still in trying to get a little bit of space, a little bit of running gun there, but Alana Stern's played really well, I think, so far, and that matchup's been really good between Karaparidis and Alana Stern. Alana's probably just got her at the moment, I think, in that matchup there, Jono. Yeah, so Karaparidis is doing really well to trying to get off the shoulder and make runs behind and trying to get Alana Stern to face backwards, but Alana Stern's a very smart defender, just using good timing of blocks, good use of her body to get her foot in, good distancing when she's going and tackle. So, yeah, definitely an interesting battle, yeah. Cox for Chichera. Back to Katie Cox. Trying to go inside there for a couple of bodies there, but ended up finding the breadbasket of Zara Board. Could have found Karaparidis or Sakalis there for Box Hill, and not to be easy enough for Zara Board to go on the back end of that one. For the Royals, Fujiwara finds Jackson. Now for Essendon, just to try and get through midfield here, and they do so through Kendra Smith. In a bit of space, might be a bit too much in the end. It is Chichera, finds Morrissey. And Box Hill will go from right to left, and unfortunately a little bit too much on that ball used there from Teresa Morrissey for the captain, of course, Olivia Ellis, and so throw in there for the Royals. Quickly cleared away there from Rebecca Van Dort. Sakalis heads back over to Olivia Ellis. And I think another thing too, Jono, and you've worked in the A-League women's system, it's good to see a lot of ALW players in particular use the NPL, whether it's Victoria or across Australia, as sort of a bit of a platform to not only keep the body warm, but also to try and get better. And if they're in a position to try and impress their coaches, their assistant coaches during the off-season, to really give themselves a bit of a leg up when they sort of head back into pre-season around that September period.
Yeah, I think it's great. Look, it's great for me, 2 birds, 1 stone, commentating and scouting. So it works out really well for me personally. Oh, it's a great ball there, and no, another offside flag, however. But yeah, look, it's great for the players, especially for those kind of girls on the fringes of the A-League squads who need to get minutes and they come in now. But I think one thing that is also probably not talked about enough is the impact that they make for the clubs and also the younger girls in the NPLW that they train with and kind of play with when they do drop down into the NPLW. I think that's such a key factor. I've seen when I was coaching in this league with Heidelberg United that when the A-League girls came, it just lifted the quality of everything you do, the professionalism and the standards. As Box Hill are through here, potentially, Rossi rushes her shot in the end, just goes wide. Probably could take an extra touch there, but good young talent and probably a prime example of what we're speaking about of A-League players coming down to get some minutes and kind of show their talent and hopefully boost the standards of those around it. Karina Rossi is a good example, just not on that occasion.
You're right there. Should have done a lot better there. She had Georgia Caraparides as an option there. Karina Rossi, maybe she could have taken another 4 or 5 steps and maybe timely managed that ball there, but she knew that Alana Stern was on her tail really, really quickly. And not to be there for Karina Rossi, unfortunately, for Box Hill United. As Zarbord brings the ball back inwards here for Essendon. Lost possession again. Have the Royals. Sakalis hits the deck and she's won herself a free kick. So Box Hill in a really good spot, about 25 or so yards out from goal. And we'll set up for the first set-piece free kick of this afternoon here, 25 minutes in, Jono.
Yeah, I think the last 5 minutes or so, Box Hill have had the ascendancy as well. Royals being stubborn defensively and being quite compact and managing those moments. But Box Hill are starting to find a little bit more joy. And Sophia Sakalis over a dead ball is definitely danger signs for Essendon Royals here. On her wrong side, though, so it looks like it'll be a cross.
So Sakalis having to now deal with a wall of 3 that Essendon have got in front of her. The wall's probably about 1 or 2 yards out from the edge of the 18-yard box. From 25 yards out, Sakalis crosses it inwards. Box Hill retain possession. Cleared away here nicely by the Royals. Fujiwara gets on the back end of that one, does so really well. And they keep it in here through Parkinson. She doesn't run out of real estate just yet. So lack of urgency from that set-piece free kick from Sophia Sakalis. Just probably put it in the right spot, I'd say, Jono. Just unfortunately, there's no urgency from her teammates to get into that right spot for a potential header.
Yeah, that's one thing you can probably bet on is Sakalis from a dead ball to find the intended target or at least the intended area in that circumstance. So definitely always a massive threat for Box Hill.
So halfway through this first half, still 0-0, and as I said, Box Hill's probably had the most of it in the last sort of few minutes or so in this first half in particular. But Essendon with possession, still in away a bit. Wood, she's turned that ball over, and as I said, that Box Hill also turned that ball over too. And Caraparides did really well, kept it. Unfortunately, flag goes up. Giselle Spezza in the best place possible, and unfortunately, one of the last forwards there, and Caraparides was probably just offside there, and probably a really good decision there from, of course, our second assistant referee, Giselle Spezza, this afternoon. Probably got a bit overzealous there, I'd say, young Georgia Caraparides there on that occasion, just to try and get herself in a position, but unfortunately was just probably way too far away from that last defender for Essendon.
Yeah, for sure. She's just trying to get off the shoulder of Alana Stern or Yuri Chia. But the one thing it is doing, it might not result in a goal just yet, but it's because Essendon Royals are kind of conscious. Oh, it could be a moment here for Royals, though. Jackson, first shot of the game. Ooh, thought that was going to creep in from Devin Jackson. Teresa Morrissey says not yet, or not today, as Box Hill look to build up. But yeah, what's Caraparides' movement is doing is freeing up pockets for Sophia Sakalis. So for the viewers at home, if you just have a look at Sophia Sakalis in the last 5 or so minutes, she's been everywhere. She's just roaming, and that's where she plays her best football. As a long ball over top for Royals, though. Whoa, what a goal! from Essendon Royals at a nothing on transition.
Great goal there from Ari Fujiwara. And Essendon get their first goal. And you're right though, Jono, greatly called. It was just something out of nothing. It was a lob ball, probably 9-10 in for goal, but it was nothing. There was nothing else, unfortunately, there for Teresa Morrissey to do there. And Fujiwara, her 6th goal of the campaign, and puts Essendon on the board first and foremost. Essendon leading this one 1-0, but as you said, something out of nothing there from the Japanese international, but that's what she's been able to do all season. She's made a lot of her goals, and there was one in particular I called against South Melbourne a couple weeks ago. It was another something out of nothing goal. She's been able to conjure up a couple of those in season 2025. That was just brilliantly timed there from Fujiwara, and Teresa Morrissey probably was maybe a little bit was probably asleep at the wheel, you'd say, to try and get back there. But Fujiwara, she's been a revelation for Essendon this season.
Yeah, it definitely came out of nothing. I think no one expected that. To be honest, as Box Hill were having the lion's share of possession in the last 5 or so minutes. But most important signing you can make as a coach are this two. It's either your goalkeeper or your striker, and she's a prime example of. Doesn't matter that Box Hill had the player there and were looking promising, and they were moving and roaming into pockets, all over top. Striker who can score. 1-0 Royals.
That puts them now in a good position. 1-0. So we're now ticking to the last 16 minutes of regulation time of this first half. Of course, Archie Fujiwara scored. That's, I believe now his 6th goal of the campaign for the Royals, and a sensational striker from Japan who's really made a name of himself in this competition. What can Box Hill do to try and even the tone just a little bit? Gichera tried really hard to get over the top here, but again, on the breakaway here is Devin Jackson. A bit of space now for Rebecca Van Dort, trying to go again for Fujiwara. It's going to stay with the Royals. Pass a bit too much there from Parkinson for Fujiwara, and cleared away nicely here by Holly Murray. But again, Essendon, they can hurt you on those turnovers and have done so far this season, and they did so this afternoon. But Box Hill just need to sort of be maybe a bit more savvy, a bit more clever now with their ball use in defence, because they know that Essendon can hurt you on the turnovers like that. But in a bit of space now, chance here for Olivia Woods. Saved nicely there by Teresa Morrissey. 3rd shot on target for the Royals this afternoon. And Olivia Wood can't get her first goal in Royals colours this afternoon, but a good save there from Teresa Morrissey, but a much better run there from Olivia Wood.
Yeah, she's got some really good movement off the ball as a striker. She looks like she could play anywhere across the front. Coming to us from the Perth NPL, looking for a different challenge and hopefully become a mainstay in the A-League Women in the next season. But yeah, some good movement off the ball and a good strike as well, but a good save for Morrissey.
Sasha Corey passes back now for Wood. Wood crosses inside. Her intended target was in a position now. It would have been Kobe Wilberts. And from long range there, Mikhaila Juric, the captain, trying to get her name on the score sheet this afternoon. Not to be Teresa Morrissey, saves that one nice and easy there for Box Hill as Zoe Hudson. One's now Olicino. And they're passing from the back, Box Hill. Polly Water. Hudson. Back to Morrissey. Again, slow pace here from Box Hill in their back third, just to observe what they've been able to do for about 10 or so minutes of this game, 15 minutes tops. Just trying to find a positional change in space there, and blocked away nicely there. Zoe Hudson's ball there by Olivia Woods. Smith Julian alongside Katie Cox, and FL will be called there on Katie Cox, and just a small talking to there by a match official this afternoon, Angela Katsalis, and probably nothing untoward there, just as we get the trainer out to have a look at this one. But small pause in play, and probably just gives both sides just an opportunity just to sort of catch their collective breath a little bit too. Kendra Smith and Katie Cox, another matchup I've been really enjoying watching this afternoon too. Jono, it's been fantastic to watch those two go at each other too. But yeah, nothing malice in that challenge there.
Yeah, no, not at all. That's just footy. Nothing to see there, I don't think. But yeah, definitely an interesting midfield battle. I think Kendra Smith does really well of kind of sweeping up balls and winning tackles and winning 50-50s and then playing it forward quickly so then Royals can transition. Probably something, another player that probably doesn't get enough credit that she deserves in the role that she plays. I think she's so critical to the balance of this Royals team. But interesting enough, It'd be interesting to see how Box Hill go into half-time if it does remain 1-0 in the next 15 minutes before we head to the sheds. Because for me, Sienna Teixeira was probably their best attacker. Now she's playing left-back. She started as a right-back this game, and now she's moved to the left, so she's on her opposite foot as well. So an absolute fantastic kid, fantastic attitude, and will do that with her heart on her sleeve and give 100%. But I think we were talking about the defensive ability of Alana Cern and how Box Hill probably haven't got past her. Yeah, I think Sienna Teixeira is probably a better matchup for them to go and get back in this game. So it's interesting to see what they do there.
Absolutely. It might be positional change that they might look at, especially at half-time, as cleared away there by Holly Murray, but I'll stay with the Royals on that far right-hand side of Cross Keys Reserve. Caraparidis now playing in that back half, trying to give a little bit of a leg up for her teammates, a little bit too, trying to shed a load a little bit. So we've seen now Karina Rossi looks like she's moved up the field just a little bit too. So I think her and Caraparidis are sort of just switching positions just a little bit there, Jono, which is really good to see. I know you're big raps on someone like Karina Rossi too, who hopefully she can make a little bit of an impact in this game too. But I do like the fact that her and Caraparidis are just sort of happy to sort of share the forward duties for the time being in sort of this last sort of 10 to 15 minutes of this first half.
Yeah, for sure. And the Box Hill, that's a good pass from Murray to split the lines there. They're going to need to do a little bit more of that, a little bit more rotations. It's going to be a little bit more dynamic because now Royals are happy just sitting a little bit deeper and taking on these pressures. Teixeira looks to play forward. Can Box Hill keep it in? Then it looks like a corner. Close to. Nutmeg. That's no avail. But yeah, it'll be very interesting now that... Oh, hang on. Karina Rossi tries to slip it through. Zara Board, brave dive on the ball there. May get a boot in the face there for her troubles, but she's got the ball in her hand, so all is well. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what Box Hill do, just to up the intensity in the middle third, so they can start to progress the ball a little bit quicker. Because as I said before, Royals now got with that goal, and they know they can score goals against a runner play, so I don't think they mind soaking up pressure because they know they can score on the transition.
Ross having to deal with C Red there. One in particular, Kendra Smith, Alison Woods. The two Olivias go to battle there. And it's the Olivia for Box Hill. Olivia Ellis winning that challenge there for Box Hill. Will be a free kick for United. Quickly taken here by Zoe Hudson. Olacino. Box Hill through midfield. Head back now for Murray. Might find potentially Olivia Ellis in a bit of space, but Holly Murray's going to go on a little bit of a run here for Box Hill. Finds Rossi. Good touch there for Hudson. And back to Murray. She's going to cross this ball deep, trying to find Caraparidis, but ended up finding the header of Amy Parkinson instead. Box Hill retained possession. And yet Essendon zoning up nicely again in their back third. So Murray's going to go now from right to left here at Cross Keys. Thought about it. Found Hudson. Goes back to Murray. And up the field now is Polly Water for a bit of assistance for Murray. Good touch there for Katie Cox. Now a chance here for Caraparidis to potentially get a chance for Box Hill. Maybe a bit too much there, and Alana Cern in the right place at the right time. Did really well, clears it away, finds Parkinson, and just shows the character of Alana Cern and that experience from Western United in particular over the last couple of seasons. What can Essendon do now through Van Dort? Good touch there. Good 1-2 alongside Olivia Wood. Inside now for Essendon. Hudson clears away nicely here for Box Hill. And beautiful take there from Caraparidis. B. Kendra Smith to the punch. Finds Katie Cox. But again, Alana Cern did really well there, Jono, winning that battle alongside Caparitas. It was just an unlucky bounce there for Sophia Caparitas, but Alana Cern, it just shows just how soundly minded she is defensively to get herself in the right position. Yeah,
she's definitely made an impact on this game. And for moments like this, organised at the back from Royals, and then quick transition here. Devin Jackson, looking for a double, goes to square it, but wins her side a corner here on the near side. So that's the thing with Essendon. They've got, like I said before, two really solid centre-backs who are calm, composed, and defend the line and defend the box quite well. And they can get moments like that on transitions where they know they've got goal scorers, and that's how you win football games. Simple put.
Fujiwara to take this corner here now for Essendon. Chance for them to try and double their leads as we tick into the final 5 or so minutes of regulation time before half time. And red time goals will be good. And Essendon double their lead again. That was a great header in, a great cross in there from Ari Fujiwara. And the Royals have doubled their leads. And it makes it now tough for Box Hill to get back to this one. And that's something that Box Hill did not want to do on the stroke of half time, is give up a goal. And Essendon have doubled their leads with about 5 minutes left until half time. That was a fantastic work then. And that's Olivia Wood's first goal as a Royal too. So congratulations to Olivia Wood. But good crossing again from Fujiwara. And again, Box Hill lacking a bit of concentration down back, and it's cost them dearly.
Yeah, these are the moments that how Royals collect so many points throughout the season. They could be, sustaining pressure, and they do the simple things well, and they defend, and they're happy to sit behind the ball, but they've got goal scorers. And a moment like that, they got a quick transition moment, wins in the corner, good cross from a good player, good header from a good player, and it's a goal.
So if he's only at half time, then Box Hill will sort of look at it in particular as well, as sort of how to try and stop those lapses in defence. And I think now, best case scenario for them is to hope for them sake at least, try and get a goal before half time and to not let Essendon blow this lead out, because when they hurt you like that, they can hurt you really badly, do Essendon. But here's Sophia Sakalis now for Box Hill on a bit of a run. We're dealing with Kobe Wilberts. Can Sakalis get it back? She can't. Caparitas dueling well there with Wilbert. Wilbert won out well, and Capri still fighting for the ball. Ball still in play, and it's now with Box Hill. So Caparitas gets through. Probably not the right intended target there, because she finds Zara Board from Essendon. But again, probably just a bit more of a panic shot more than anything else, because you had a sea of red there from Essendon's point of view, and there's nothing there that Sophia Caparitas could do in that situation. Finds Zara Board. It's now with Rebecca Van Dort trying to find Fujiwara potentially. Headed away nicely there by Hudson. Ellis. Good hit there from Olivia Woods. And finds the breadbasket again of Teresa Morrissey. But they've looked the more threatening the last couple of minutes, Essendon. I mean, they've needed 2 goals in the last 10 minutes of this first half in particular. But again, when they start to get on a bit of a roll, Essendon, they're very hard to stop. And that's something that Box Hill just need to try and conjure up before half-time, and especially something they'll speak about at half-time, heading back onto the pitch for the second half.
Yeah, for sure. Like, this picture here right now is a key one. So, like, Royals, you can see they're happy to sit a little bit deeper. This is good from Holly Murray to take a little bit more of initiative to progress the ball forward, but to no avail on that occasion there, because they're happy to build up from the defensive third, Box Hill, but they need to have a little bit more prowess to actually progress through the thirds. And is it potentially some midfielders dropping in to help? Is it fullbacks getting a little bit forward to put a little bit more pressure on the Royals' back line? Because probably in the last 10 minutes or so, the Royals' defensive line have been really comfortable. So definitely Box Hill's turn and task to up the ante. There's a good moment here potentially, but that's better. If you start driving a player, start dribbling, start to go 1v1, take a little bit more risks. But probably more importantly, don't concede a third one before half-time, because I think that would be game.
I'm going to use your brain here a little bit too, John, as a little bit of a coach. Sort of, what do you think at this point in time too, when you're 2-0 down, you sort of want to try and maybe just try and conserve the energy before half-time. Maybe like a goal would be a bonus to try and make it 2-1 at half-time, but more so, as you said, you don't want to concede that third one because 9 times out of 10, it's very hard to come back from a 3-0 deficit at half-time in particular.
Yeah, for sure. I think potentially maybe Box Hill can snatch one here. 1v1. Looking for Rossi there. Urich recovers very well from Royals. Another prime example of how they defend, especially in those moments. But I think from Royals' point of view, they're 2-0 up. They'll probably look to take the foot off the gas just slightly to make sure they just kind of maintain this lead going into half-time. But from Box Hill's point of view, I think it's just settling the nerves. I think when you just concede in the next 5 minutes after that is so crucial. So just making sure they don't concede another. They would obviously love to get one just before the stroke at half-time. But I think if they make some tactical tweaks, they'll find a little bit more joy in the next 45 coming up from that.
Cross is good inside here, maybe potentially for Katie Cox. Not to be though, ball heads over the byline yet again. And will be a goal kick for Essendon on this occasion. But yeah, Essendon really, really good at leads like this. And they did well in Conservative League against South Melbourne and then sort of put the foot back on the accelerator in the second half a couple of weeks ago. And of course, show what they've been able to do against the teams like last week, in particular against Brunswick Juventus. Because Box Hill had a bit of a tough task against Preston Lions, and who ended up dropping points last night. But again, still very close in this competition. Sakalas inside in for Cara Paredes. This could be a chance for her, and gone to the right position there in the end. And Sophia Cara Paredes has been having a conversation here with Angela Casales, maybe just a gentle warning there, but probably the right approach there, I think, for Cara Paredes to really attack the ball. But again, it just shows the expertise of Zara Board and what she's been able to do this season too. She got herself into the right position there too, but it was probably a good through ball inside there from Sophia Sakalas for Cara Paredes, but it just shows that she's continuing to grow within this game too, Sophia.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's one of her specialties. She loves that kind of move. She likes to dribble across defenders on a little bit of an angle and then kind of have a little bit of a chip through ball, like those ones. I remember her previous NPL season, she did that so many times against my teams, and I lost most of the time until we tried to fix that. So, yeah, definitely something that she favours as one in her kind of toolkit, if you will. So hopefully that will lead to a goal for Box Hill to get back into the game.
Went on the full official now, Jordan Spezza, to put up the board to let us know. I think there might be only maybe a sole minute of stoppage time. I can see a one from the far side of the pitch where it is. So he might only have maybe just the 60 seconds of stoppage time before half time here in this one. And Jordan Spezza will put up the magical one number. So we've got 1 minute left of this first half, and Box Hill with possession. It'll be Chichera to throw this ball in. Finds Polywater. Back to Chichera. Did well there was Karina Rossi. And it was, fortunately for her, probably a bit too much panic there because it was cleared away temporarily there by Essendon. Polywater's going to pass this ball back now for Box Hill, and be about 30 or so seconds left. So Box Hill might have maybe one last potential possession here to try and go into their front third to try and strike while the iron is hot. Not on this occasion. It's on around by Van Dort. Found Smith. Ball cleared away out to touch, but it'll be a Box Hill throw in. Now for Katie Cox. Ellis. Dispossessed nicely there by Van Dort. Ellis again. Inside from Rossi. Cara Paredes, and getting a through ball, not to be there for Sophia Cara Paredes. Not a bad attempt there from Karina Rossi, but ended up finding Zara Board from Essendon Royals, and that should be it here for the first half, and it is. So at half time, goals courtesy, of course, Ari Fujiwara opened the account for Essendon Royals, and was then complimented by Olivia Wood to make it a 2-0 lead for Essendon Royals in this one against Boxer United here at half time. Before we take a short break here, Jono, just sort of your summation of that first half. It was pretty tight for both sides in the first 20 to 25 minutes of the first half. But again, I think when Ari Fujiwara scored that first goal of the game, the momentum really swung to the home side.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit of an arm wrestle.
Welcome back here, round 13 of the NPLW Victoria competition. Michael Thompson, John Clinton, our expert this afternoon. If you've just joined us, Essendon Rolls 2, Box Hill United, Neil Jono. Some tactical changes potentially for Box Hill to try and get themselves back into this one, but you would like to potentially see Sienna Chichera, who you know is a really good forward, but as you said to me, she's playing a bit more down back in place for Laura Pickett, who's not on the park this afternoon, so I can sort of see where they're coming from there. But what sort of other tactical changes do you think that Boxer would have made at half time to maybe potentially put a bit of pressure on Essendon, especially in the first 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes of this second half is real critical for Box Hill?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting second 45. Yeah, I think the key for Box Hill is how they can put the Royals' defensive line a little bit more in uncomfortable territory. I think, you know, most of the time Alana Cern and Juric have been kind of defending balls that have just been ahead of them. It's quite easy to defend when the ball's ahead of you, but Box Hill's task is going to be how can they get beside or behind that defensive line. So could take a little bit more quality to try and find Sophia Sakalis in pockets, but as I said, maybe Sienna Chichera, who's playing fullback because of the injured Laura Pickett, to get a little bit higher and start to overload on that far side.
Second half is underway here. Box Hill gets going here, and as I said, probably the first 5-10 minutes of this second half for Box Hill in particular will be critical, and Essendon will like to try and get a goal in the first 5-10 minutes to really A, put a lot more pressure on Box Hill, but B, almost put this game to bed and maybe just go in a little bit of autopilot mode for the duration of the second half, but we'll see what Box Hill can do. Essendon have possession though, but was dispossessed there nicely there from Box Hill, and it's Katie Cox a clear away here for Box Hill. Only for the short time as Essendon go through midfield here. Fujiwara did a fantastic job in that first half in particular, but here's the run now for Cara Paredes here, potentially as our board gets out of her 18-yard box, and Box Hill probably should have gone for the broke there with a long ball to see if it goes between the six, as Zarball is way out of her positional area there inside the 18-yard box, and not to be in Essendon with a bit more of their expertise, just making sure that they get the opportunity here, and might be a chance now for Essendon, but too easy here for Teresa Morrissey. But yeah, I think the first 10 minutes are critical for Box Hill and Essendon too, because I think Essendon, if they get a third goal, Jono, you're most likely to sort of see them just go in autopilot mode and sort of just try and just conserve a lot of energy for the final sort of 30-35 minutes of this game.
Yeah, for sure. I think a third goal will kill it here, but going into half-time, 2 goals up is also a very dangerous scoreline in football. So momentum swings, emotions start to get the better of teams. So if Box Hill can get a goal inside the first 10 minutes here, I think it'll be game on for sure.
See what Essendon can do out of this throw in. They've turned this ball over temporarily, potentially here for them to get possession back. Box Hill keep possession though. It's now for Polywater, trying to go inside here for Cara Paredes. It's cut off nicely there from Essendon's defence, and they've done well this afternoon in particular to really stop the momentum of Box Hill. Box Hill always try and go inside that front third, and something that Essendon have done a really good job of this afternoon. It's just really cleared their lines well, and it's something that Box Hill would have definitely spoken about in the sheds at half time, and what they can do to try and stop the bleeding just a little bit too, because they want to try and cut the head off the snake of the defence there, and they can do that from an Essendon point of view. And of course Michaela Juric is probably the main head of that python down back for Essendon. If they can try and cut that head off and score that goal, then it definitely is game on here at Cross Keys Reserve. But it's better to say, but it's better more so, isn't it, Jono, to actually do the actions?
Yeah, for sure. Like we said before, I think it's going to be a little bit... the second half has started as the first did. A bit of an arm wrestle. Both teams not looking to give too much away. But like I said, if Box Hill can get a goal in the first 10 minutes of this one, I think it'll be game on. But Royals are also in no rush to get proceedings going here.
So Box Hill just finds Sakalis out of that throw-in. She'll go on a little bit of a run here now. Sophia Sakalis might find a bit of space here for Olivia Ellis. Good crossing, I thought originally there. Just trying to find another Polywater, or of course Sophia Cara Paredes there for Box Hill. Couldn't be there from the captain, and it was easy going there for Zara Board. Ball in possession of Chichera. Bit of space now. Good chance here for Karina Rossi. Sophia Carparis couldn't get on the back end of that one, but cleared nicely there. It was Michaela Urich, and it was more of a professional tap back to the keeper there from, of course, Michaela Urich, the captain of Essendon. But again, as I said to you during the halftime break too, John, I'm loving the minor chemistry between Karina Rossi and Sophia Carparidis. They're sort of working into what a front third should look like, and potentially that 2 formation up front with those two in particular. But again, it hasn't come to fruition, but it's more of a slow burn. It's Essendon now, opportunity for them, and Teresa Morrissey juggles that ball down easily, nicely there. But that's probably the one positive I can take from Box Hill's pressure up forward, is just the chemistry that they're starting to build between Carparidis and Karina Rossi.
Yeah, for sure. I think as Karina Rossi grows into the game and then goes back into the league, fresh off her Melbourne City season, I think that those rotations are going to be key in the final third, which will also give space for the attacking midfielders of Box Hill, like Sophia Sakalis, to find pockets. So either or, it may not result to a goal yet, but the movement's got to be critical, and maybe not today, but they might run out of time to overturn this 2-goal deficit. But I think over time, with that movement that she's progressing, it's either she's going to get on the end of some through balls they're getting behind and score some goals, or Sophia Sakalis is going to pick it up into pockets.
Of course, a handful of the other NPLWVIC games are about to kick off very, very shortly, so we'll give you the scores across the league. And one in particular, Heidelberg and Bentley, I think is either kicked off or not too far away from kicking off out at the Olympic Village this afternoon between those two sides, and it should be a cracking contest. But see Essendon through to throw in here. Devin Jackson trying to go on that far side there, originally for Sasha Corey, and lobbed away nicely in there from Katie Cox, but it'll stay with Essendon on the throw in here, almost on the centre part of midfield here across Keys Reserve. Essendon 2, Box Hill nothing. It's a free kick going away off the home side. Foul committed there by Sophia Sakalis. They try to go away with the quick free kick there. Essendon's kind of blow up in their face a little bit too, because Box Hill read that nicely with a quick throw in here now for Karina Rossi. Handball called and handball given, so it's going to go away of Box Hill. Essendon not pleased with that decision there, but hopefully Box Hill don't rush it, similar to what Essendon did in their last free kick. Box Hill just looking for a few options. Box Hill, I was going to say, Chichero just looking at Angela Casals going, she's in my zone a little bit here, Jono.
No one's seen it to Chichero. I'm surprised she didn't kick it into her, to be fair. So she's done well. She's maturing. It's good to see.
Box Hill with possession back. Murray gets her own ball here and did really well there to retain her ball. And she's going to go for a little bit of a run now, so more metres gain there for Holly Murray. A bit too easy there in the front third for the defensive standpoint here for the Royals. Urich did well, finds Smith. Back now for Alana Stern. Crosses nicely here for Ari Fujiwara. She's on a bit of a run here. Bit of a panic ball there. Cleared away there by Holly Murray, only for the time being. And a proper clear away now by Box Hill. Hudson. Make sure that was as far away from the 18-yard box as possible. Hitting the deck there was Karina Rossi. No free kick called. Olicino. Passes back now to Holly Murray for Box Hill. Now to Zoe Hudson. There might be a bit of bother there. Took the foul. Was potentially going to go with the advantage there originally. Not to be. No advantage called there by, of course, our official this afternoon, Angelique Casales. It'll be Box Hill with the free kick. They move along nicely through Olicino. Back to Zoe Hudson. Now for Holly Murray. Murray looking for options. Cross wasn't too bad. Possession-wise, trying to find Polywater. Ellis. Cleared away again nicely here. Chance now for Devin Jackson. Small pass is good for Urich. And in a bit of space now is Amy Parkinson. She's got a little bit of chance here on this right-hand channel now for Essendon. Crosses inside here for the Royals. Cleared away nicely. And woofed it over the crossbar there was Kendra Smith. Decided to go for broke. But didn't mind that from Amy Parkinson though, John. It was a real nice run, and she took her time with crossing that ball in too. But maybe a little bit too cute there from Kendra Smith in the end there, and maybe try to go for break maybe a little bit too easily.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to the Essendon Royals media manager, Matt Galea. I just saw him wearing his pink bib, looking to get that ball down the creek. Nearly got collected by a bicycle on the way out. That's a true clubman there, Matt Galea. Unbelievable from him.
Well, Matt Galea, one of the best in the business, and working overtime too, because he's got, I believe, the under-20s he's dealing with too, from a photography standpoint too, on the other picture at Cross Keys Reserve, as we said. A lot of Essendon Royals action this afternoon. The under-20s playing right opposite us at the moment. Jono, the senior team, about to take to the park at 6 p.m. tonight.
Double change for Box Hill United.
And let's see our first two changes here.
Number 6, Zoe Hudson, and number 53, Georgia Karaparidis, being replaced by number 8, Sarah Petkaris, and number 27, Nicolina Bucalo.
And there we go, Nicolina Bucalo, who you and I both mentioned was probably going to be the one in particular who might be able to break the game open a little bit too. So probably a smart idea to bring Nicolina Bucalo on probably right now, and while the game is still a little bit of a stalemate, because 10 minutes elapsed in this second half. Box Hill haven't been able to get a goal, but we know that Bucalo can break the game open when she's on. Yeah,
she's a good finisher, and she'll probably be disappointed to not be starting, and also quite a smart football as well. So just gives a little bit of a different problem for Alana Cern from Essendon Royals to deal with.
So of course they're replacing Zoe Hudson and of course Georgia Karaparidis, who I thought did okay this afternoon's Georgia Karaparidis, but just again couldn't get through probably more the expertise of Alana Cern. Chance now for Box Hill is it will be a corner kick, but Lisa Karaparidis, she'll learn from taking on a well-versed, well-experienced defender in Alana Cern, and you now got someone who's got a little bit more experience than Nicolina Bucalo on you too, so it's almost a like-for-like match-up here. Yeah, for sure. I thought from Box Hill, and a good showing from her against, like you said, an experienced defender. As Box Hill got the cross in, free header at the back post. Teixeira's there. Screams for handball, not given. No one probably screamed loud enough on the field, unfortunately, for Box Hill's play continues. Another handball shout. Again, not given. But yeah, it'll be interesting how that double substitution changes the game for Box Hill. Hope it swings it back into their favour, but hopefully a little bit more smarter moving up top to get past Alana Cern or Urich. Box Hill looking threatening a little bit too, but nothing too untoward there for Zara Board, who launches it into the middle part of Cross Keys Reserve, but Box Hill get possession back through Ozzy Alicino. Did really well there. Josie Alicino wins the throw-in for Box Hill. And chance for United to go deep in their front third again. Headed nicely there by Fujiwara from Essendon. Battle was trying to win there by Katie Cox, but Fujiwara stood her ground nicely. The Japanese international finds her teammate in Devin Jackson. Back over now to Fujiwara. Maybe a bit too much on that one. Olivia Ellis in the last line of defence. Did well, there was Devin Jackson. She's battling well with Katie Cox. Trying to win the ball back for Essendon, not to be. Well done there in the end by Katie Cox. Slid to the ground, but kept possession for her sides. Now it's Ellis. She's on a little bit of a break here. Passes on the left-hand side now for Sakalis. Ellis crosses inside. One from Box Hill inside the front third, inside that 18-yard box, and cleared away nicely here. Chance now on the run here is Devin Jackson. Her first game did really well. Tried to keep her footing, kept her footing in the end. Wasn't the intended opportunity she wanted. And she's turned that ball over, and that was unlucky there for Devin Jackson, because I thought she did everything right there, and you can see she's a little bit disappointed with herself. And again, as dry as the pitch is here at Cross Keys Reserve, there was nothing Devin Jackson could do, because that was a really good run from the New Zealand international in her first game.
Yeah, she makes a big impact to this Royal side. Very direct, very quick, very strong to go forward, and you can see, especially in those transition moments, Royals are quite happy and comfortable to sit a little bit deeper as the game progresses. You're only happy to do that as a coach if, one, you've got a good defensive line, which they do in Royals with the centre-back partnership of Uric and Cern, but also probably the most important part, can you actually still go and hurt the opposition if you're sitting deep, and they've got that with Devin Jackson.
So as we tick into it, 1 hour gone in this game. Essendon 2, Box Hill nothing. Box Hill still searching for their first goal of the afternoon. As the sun begins to set here, Cross Keys Reserve, of course, it is the winter solstice this afternoon too, so sun will be setting about 6 past 5 tonight, so the shortest day of the year and the longest night of the year in Australia, which means the nights are going to get the days are going to get a little bit longer now with the winter solstice coming and going. Olacino on a bit of a run here now for Box Hill. Sakalis might find a teammate, does so. Bit of space here potentially for Karina Rossi. And that's the professionalism defensively there of Alana Cern. Karina Rossi running out of real estate in the end, over the byline, and a goal kick here for Essendon.
Yeah, Box Hill hopefully starting to get a little bit more of the ascendancy into the game and start to take it to Essendon Royals, who are sitting a little bit deeper as the game does progress. So could always work in two ways. You can make sure you can, from a Royals point of view, you kind of shut up shop and you're quite defensive, but also that means you're kind of welcoming pressure. So what Box Hill do with that extended territory is going to be really important and fascinating.
Rolls through midfield, passing the ball nicely. Smith. Caught a bit of contact there, and not to be, ball goes over the byline. There'll be a goal kick there for Box Hill, but they're doing, as you said, John, they're doing a really good job just sitting back a little bit too. They're happy to sort of sit in maybe second gear at the moment. Essendon, they're happy to just hold on to this 2-0 lead, and I think that Box Hill continue to get more and more threatening as this second half progresses, and if they do fire back a goal, then that's when I think we'll see Essendon sort of shift that gear a little bit, go into third, maybe fourth gear to try and get a 2-goal lead back. But yeah, I think they're just happy to sit pretty at the moment and just let Box Hill do some attacking, which hasn't really phased the Royals too much in this second half thus far. Bucalo hopefully try and make an impact on the pitch here for Box Hill. Murray. The cross ball now into that far side of the midfield here at Cross Keys. Was dispossessed in the end. Their Royals try to keep possession. It's a real stalemate through midfield at the moment for both sides. Box Hill trying to get through the wall of Royals, but Essendon happy to sort of sit back through midfield a little bit too. So almost mirror image of what we saw in the first half between these two sides. That was a good challenge there in the end. Fujiwara passes off. Now Essendon might have a chance here. Devin Jackson trying to get herself into the right position. Maybe the glare of the sun was a bit of a detriment in particular, but nonetheless, Essendon win it back here. And ball goes out. It'll be a Royals throw in, but a little bit of stalemate through midfield. I think I'm enjoying the battle through midfield in this second half from both sides at the moment, as Fujiwara tried to keep possession there for Essendon. Box Hill will hopefully try and clear the lines here, which they do, albeit here for the short time. Ball goes out of touch, but yeah, as I said, John, I'm loving the battle through midfield between these two sides, and it's almost maybe an image of what we saw in the first half between these two teams.
Oh, Devin Jackson gets a ball in. Yeah, no, definitely right, mate. So I think the massive challenges for Box Hill just being how can they get a little bit more connection in that middle third? Because Royals are dropping off, probably Box Hill haven't done enough to probably use the space that they're giving them. There's a lot of long and straight passes, which it's very comfortable for a team that's sitting a little bit more deeper to kind of defend. So if they can try and find more players in pockets, like as you can see in this picture here, Box Hill midfielders looks to receive it. A little bit more players in between lines to then drive at the Royals' defence is going to be key for them.
And I think that's probably what Box Hill probably needs to do a little bit more too, is trying to stop going through trying to go through the middle of the park, try and use those wings and those pockets, as you said, to an advantage. And sort of they'll have a bit more space, I'd say, on those wings, a bit more so than going through the middle.
Yeah, for sure. Like, not too sure if the camera just picked it up there, but Larnasoon quick to step on to Karina Rossi there, and if we get a little bit of movement from the front line of Box Hill to kind of attract players and provoke them to go and press, and then you can exploit that space either beside or behind them, especially using those wide areas, because at the moment everything kind of just straight, and it's very comfortable for a team like Royals who are quite compact centrally to then step on and jump lines when they're pressing in centre areas. So if Box Hill can use that to advantage, try and provoke the pressure a little bit more, then play beside or behind, they get a little bit more joy. But this first and second pass, as a good example there, so now can they go forward from it is going to be key. Look at this space here up where London Cern is. It 1v1 opportunity, Rossi. Good passage of play there from Box Hill. Box Hill, top of the box. That's better from Box Hill though. That's better. Demanding territory and kind of dominating that space there and trying to pin Royals as far back as possible.
Murray now to Polly Water. Box Hill going to use the wings as possession based and try and get inside that little pocket to try and cross inside, which again Essendon are trying to exploit a little bit. So Essendon with possession back through Zara Board. And clear away nicely. And that wasn't too bad there from Sarah Picaris. She sort of leaned back a little bit too, and again, that's what some substitutions are going to have to start doing. I mean, Picarlo, we know that she can break the game open if she wants to. She hasn't really got herself going, but Picaris is starting to get herself now into the game. It would have been either a handball or an offside. Nonetheless, it's going to be a Box Hill free kick, but again, that's something that Box Hill will probably have to start using more, is trying to get Sarah Picaris and Nicolina Picarlo into the game maybe a little bit more, and I think Vince Battiato is starting to look at his bench a little bit too. We might potentially be close as well to maybe having seen Essendon have their first sub initiated into this game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Royals do from this substitution. That looks like it's coming shortly. If they look to go a little bit more attacking or shut up shop. It's 2-0, but I wouldn't say they're exactly too comfortable at this stage though. Box Hill just have way too many quality players on the park to be comfortable at this rate. Holly Murray with the ball now is a key one. Actually, a very good story for all the youngsters wanting to play in the A-League Women. She was a train-on with us at Melbourne Victory and then wasn't satisfied with not getting minutes, which is something that I really respected from a young player like herself. And she went to Canberra and she's earned her spot there. She's been playing consistently for the last 3 years. So where other players or other young players might stay in their comfort zones at a team that's in their hometown, she went to Canberra and she's now a mainstay in the A-League Women's competition, which is good to see from a youngster.
As the whistle's gone, it's going to go the way of Essendon. I think it might be Emma Langwilly about to come on very, very shortly for Essendon. So a bit more experience coming onto the park now for the Royals very, very shortly. But you're right, though, and maybe another player too who you know really well, and we spoke about her before we jumped on air together this afternoon. Alana Yancheska did the exact same thing. She was a bit stagnant in the NPL Women's Victoria competition, went to Perth, learned a lot from the Glory, went to Adelaide United, learned a lot from the Reds, and then came back to Victory and really showed what she was made of, and coming home this past summer and playing for Victory. So you're right, though, a lot of players in particular, if you want to bet on yourself a little bit too, especially in the A-League Women's competition, don't be afraid to pack up the suitcase and travel interstate. And Alana Yancheski did that, and as you said too, Holly Murphy did the exact same thing, travelled up to the nation's capital and played for United this season. Yeah,
I think it's just a good testament to both of those young players' characters, but they're reaping the rewards of that. Like you said, Alana Janzewski was one of the revelations for us this season at the Victory, and I thought her coming home back to us and she was a much better footballer and person, and that's what she was brave and just went out there and went to get some A-League minutes, and Holly Murray the same. And I think for the young players in this NPL competition, if they look at those two as examples, especially Holly Murray because she's back playing in the competition now, I think that's a massive, massive boost for them to go, okay, if she could do it, then I think it gives everyone courage to hopefully go and get a contract somewhere else. They might not be too familiar or comfortable, but hopefully they can get minutes and then grow as a footballer.
Absolutely, and then maybe have that attraction of coming home to their home club, their home state, potentially down the line somewhere. Chance now here for Karina Rossi, and unfortunately, this time around, I think it was Olachino who would have been offside there for Box Hill United. As Essendon are going to go down the Box Hill route, and they're going to do a double substitution themselves. So coming off is Olivia Wood. Mia Lane Terry Bartley comes on, and coming on is Emma Langley. Coming off is Amy Parkinson for Essendon. So I've dubbed her Mia Lane Terry Bartley, the disruptor, because she's a very hard person to get around, and she's a very solid defender, Mia Lane Terry Bartley, and now she's on the park. And this is probably smart now from Vince Battiato. Didn't have the need for two experienced heads for the Essendon Royals to come onto the park to start this game. But now in the last 20 minutes, just to really keep the game into second gear.
And number 3,
they're put in the right, probably put them in probably the best position possible now to have two well-experienced players, and now Emma Langley and Mia Lane Terry Bartley onto the park for Essendon. This is probably a smart double substitution here, I think, from Vince Battiato. He knew exactly what to do with 20 minutes to go.
Yeah, look, mate, it helps when you've got quality in the squad, and I think putting Mia here there right back, lots of experience, lots of grunt when she's playing that, and as a defender as well. It's an awkward one for Teixeira to deal with, though, in the meantime. Does really well for Senator Teixeira, is not, I've been saying it all progress, not a defender. She's defended that very well. But then bringing Emma Langley on as well, lots of pace to burn and lots of experience. And Emma Langley might use it here. Whistle in mouth from Angelique. Angelique, the referee in the middle today, saying, "No way, Vince." I like that. The direct chat to the coach. I love that, to be honest. That's hilarious. But yeah, Emma Langley, lots of pace in there. Which means Jackson can then go on the left as well. So still plenty of firepower for Royals up top, and a little bit more pace now added with Langley. And then, yeah, Mia coming on as a defender will just help shore up that defence.
And she's going to take on, of course, Bacalo, who's going to be her direct opponent. And here is Nicolina Bacalo now for Box Hill. What can she do against Mia Lane Terry Bartley? And that just shows the character there of Lane Terry Bartley. Read that nicely, finds Emma Langley. Unfortunately had her ball turned over, but again, that's signs of a very smart defender, and probably one of the most probably underrated, who flies under the radar quite a lot in this competition, Mia Lane Terry Bartley, especially down back, and what she's been able to do with the Royals this season in particular. But that was just a smart play against someone like Nicolina Bacalo, who looking like she was trying to find someone open.
Yeah, for sure. I think experience in this league is so important, and I think especially as the season progresses, I think that experience comes to play more and more, especially with the new A-League girls coming in. It takes time for the new players to gel, but when you've got some experienced NPL heads in your squad throughout the whole season, I think that is a solid foundation.
As we're going to see a third substitution here for Box Hill. Coming off is Olivia Ellis, and I'm trying to see who's come on. I think it might be potentially Victoria Zekas here, but not wearing her traditional number 20. I think she might be wearing her number 30, but we'll get confirmation of that one very, very shortly. Always an absolute pain when you sort of see the numbers pre-game and you're thinking that, everyone's got the right jersey numbers on, and then someone comes out with a rogue jersey like that, and you're sort of scrounging to see who's come off the bench and potentially, come onto the park as a substitution. Jono, it can be a bit times tedious, but we'll find it very, very shortly, won't we?
Mate, you're doing a good job on the commentary. I'll stick to the tactics, though. Mix-ups like that, not for me, mate.
Fair enough. In particular, here we go. Fujiwara trying to cross it in nicely, and not to be. Royals see that ball go out. It'll be a Box Hill throw in. So Box Hill making their third substitution. I thought Olivia Ellis, the captain's armband this afternoon, doing a fantastic job, but her day is done. Holly Murphy just teetering inside. And Box Hill just going to try and clear now into the front third through Polywater. It's an awkward looking ball, as you said. Lana Soon didn't see Karina Rossi coming as quickly as she did. Was able to put the skates on and pass the ball back to her keeper nicely there. And of course, Zara Board. Box Hill want to try and clear the lines here again, but again, Essendon flooding their front third really well. Ball back with Murphy. Now Jackson. Here for Corey. He's been a bit quiet this afternoon. Fujiwara over the top. Nice header attempt there from Ari Fujiwara. Grabbed nicely there by Teresa Morrissey. I said Sasha Koi probably having a bit more of a quieter game than she normally would like, but I am liking seeing some of the new signings really getting to work this afternoon. I mean, Olivia Wood, who got subbed out, she had a fantastic game, I thought, and I've been loving the fact of seeing Alana Cern solidify herself in defence. As we see Terry Bartley pass back to Urich. Now to Zarbord, and I think Devin Jackson's had a really good start to her career as a Royal too. I think she's been really solid. I know she's had a couple of disappointing moments in this game by her standards, but I think Devin Jackson's been really, really good for the Royals this afternoon.
Yeah, like we've been saying kind of all broadcast, another quality A-League player coming back into the NPL Victoria and just going off her positive season with the Jets. So hopefully bring that form and hopefully inspire some of the young players around her here at Royals. So definitely gives them a lot of pace and power up top. And for a team like Royals who kind of rely on moments, she's a player who can win games in moments. So definitely a great signing from the Reds.
Free kick now here for Box Hill. It will be taken here by Holly Murphy. Just having a little conversation with a teammate there in Pollywater to see what she can do. Murphy crosses the ball in nicely. Again, cleared away by Terry Bartley. Pollywater through midfield, in the middle part of the park. Passes off. Cox. Good 1-2 pass here. Chichera inside. It's cleared away nicely there by Michaela Urich. And a corner here for Box Hill. And you've got 14 minutes of normal time to try and get a goal to make this game on again. Sophia Sakalis will take this corner kick here for Box Hill. And chance for United to try and make sure that Zarbord does not leave home base with a clean sheet this afternoon. As Angela Casales having a little conversation with Sophia Sakalis to make sure that the ball is in the right position for this corner kick. And Angela Casales, she is satisfied as the match official this afternoon. So Sakalis has the ball, headed ball away there from Bacalo. Box Hill again might be able to try and get themselves going. They can't. Emma Langley gets the clearance ball here, and away goes Devin Jackson. She's finding 2 for now with Box Hill. Ball one there by Essendon. Devin Jackson with a nice run. Meta's game was fantastic, and gives a chance now here for Van Dort to throw the ball in, which Devin Jackson will receive back. Back to Van Dort. Crosses inside, maybe for Emma Langley. Picked up nicely here by Morrissey for Box Hills. Taking to the 78th minute, Essendon 2, Box Hill 0. But again, Box Hill showing glimpses in the last sort of a few minutes that they can do a bit of attacking, but turn that ball over again. And as I say that was a ball that I don't think Kendra Smith was very happy with by her counts. And again, that was probably a lot better for Box Hill in the last few minutes. They've gone a little bit more of attacking flair, which is really good to see. So it shows that they can threaten up forward at the best of times to Box Hill. But again, what's eluding them right now is a goal, and their first goal of this game. Essendon trying to keep possession. Murphy has to deal with Emma Langley on her tail. Bacalo did well. Finds Olachino. Olachino's going to go for a little bit of a run now. Box Hill chance here for them to go inside the 18-yard box. Sakalis! There's the goal. Sophia Sakalis puts it in the back of the net. And it's now game on here across Keys Reserve. Box Hill get one back. 79 minutes in. Essendon 2, Box Hill 1. Courtesy of Sophia Sakalis.
Big player in big moments like Sophia Sakalis.
By number 99, Sophia Sakalis.
Yeah, massive goal here across Keys. I think it makes this last 15 minutes very, very interesting. Box Hill in the last 3 minutes or so changed to a back three as well. Sienna Teixeira staying high as she was playing left back, but going to her more natural position as a winger. Might go back probably as a little bit of a wing back in the next couple of minutes to see how the next 5 minutes progresses. But Box Hill, good interplay there. So we shall see how this one progresses.
Looking a bit more threatening now at Box Hill, and they've got a second win from that goal through Sophia Sakalis. But again, we were wondering how long Essendon were going to stay in second gear for, and how long before maybe potentially another goal was going to be scored, whether it was going to be themselves or whether it was going to be Box Hill. And well, I think Essendon, they're probably now launched it into third gear a little bit too, but I think Box Hill likewise have done the exact same thing as battle there between Alana Cern and Karina Rossi, one out there in the end by the Royals. Karina Rossi now starting to threaten a little bit up forward here for Box Hill and really keeping Alana Cern up on her toes just a little bit. Holly Water now playing down back a little bit more than she was playing more of that defensive midfield role in the first half against Essendon, but has pushed back in sort of the latter part, maybe the last sort of 5 or so minutes. And as Jono lamented too, they've gone into a back third a little bit too, with 3 in the back here. Box Hill, not bad there from Box Hill. Chance there over the top and doing everything right there was Karina Rossi. Not a bad attempt the first time, not a bad attempt the second time, but again, she's a bit disappointed. Was hoping for a ricochet source to try and get her out of jail, but not to be there for Karina Rossi.
Yeah, it's now Box Hill definitely have the ascendancy now and trying to apply the pressure as much as possible to get that elusive equaliser. One thing that Royals do have, even though they're on the wrong side of the momentum right now, is just a solid defensive line. But those moments for Box Hill, especially as they start to attack a little bit more, they've got players like Sophia Sakalis, like Karina Rossi, like Sienna Teixeira, with so much A-League prowess in this side that they might only need one more chance and they'll be back in it.
And see for Box Hill, Cox. They're going to pass back here. Polly Water, now to Murphy. They're going to back third now for Polly Water. Inside here for Cox, finds Murray again. Pass is good, maybe potentially too much there. And running out of space there with Teixeira. As Essendon are going to make another substitution. Renee Pocock on for Kobe Wilbert. I think she's been good this afternoon, Kobe Wilbert. She's been solid, but again, another experienced head in particular. Renee Pocock coming on too.
Renee Pocock.
We know what Renee Pocock can do coming onto the pitch for Essendon, but I think it's been a solid outing again for Kobe Wilbert for the Essendon Royals.
Yeah, for sure. Kobe's a player I've coached for many years when she's coming through the Victory Academy. And it's good to see her just fully fledged as an NPL senior player now. She was played every minute nearly at Calder United last season, and this season unfortunately they got relegated, and then she's ended up here and again made her claim to be starting every game, and she's been instrumental to Royals so far this season.
Ball heads back here for Teresa Morrissey, not to trouble her in any way, shape or form. Murray. Crosses long. Headed nicely there by Lanteri Bartley. It might bite her a little bit, can it? Cern in a bit of trouble there. Box Hill did really well, and they've kept it in. Sakalis trying to do something miraculous, not to be. And Alana Cern's gone down behind play in a bit of pain, but gee, that was a stray ball there from Mia Lanteri Bartley, and thought Sophia Sakalis was in the right position to try and equalise, but good work in the end from Box Hill to try and keep that ball in play too, just to try and keep that momentum there, Jono. But gee, a bit of heart and mouth stuff there if you're an Essendon Royals fan.
Yeah, for sure. That would have been special from Sophia Sakalis if she scored that one, to be fair. So I think this break and play is going to suit Essendon Royals more than anything, just to get bit of air back in the lungs, just relax a little bit, see how they can manage the rest of the game. Probably 2 or 3 minutes in extra time to go, so probably 10 minutes all up. So it will be interesting how they go about this for the remainder of the game. But I think Box Hill, they're showing some really positive signs now, but will it be too little, too late? It will be an interesting one.
84 minutes gone, as Lana Cern's going to head over to the sideline just for a bit of minor treatment. Hopefully it's not too bad, and she'll be able to rejoin her Royals compadres onto the park very, very shortly. So Royals out of this quick break here will be down to 10, but Lana Cern looks positive at least, so she'll rejoin her teammates, you'd say, very, very shortly. As we're just waiting for play to get back underway very, very shortly. Angelique Casales just having a conversation there with Devin Jackson. So I think Devin Jackson was happy. She thought that there might have been a booking in there somewhere potentially for Sophia Sakalis, but I think sort of very happy to sort of just let the ball play as it was too, because I think it was just a really good contest between both Sakalis and Alana Cern in that situation there too. So I think Devin Jackson just wasn't overly pleased that there wasn't at least a booking of sorts there for Sophia Sakalis, because she thought it was probably a little bit more dangerous than what it might have been. But I think from where we were, didn't look overly dangerous, as Karina Rossi was that over the top, and will be a goal kick here for the Royals.
Yeah, interesting tactical matchup here for Box here now. So Sienna Teixeira, like I mentioned earlier, she's gone high and she's pretty much playing like as a back three now, and she's joined the attacking line, and something a little bit more familiar with her. So the spaces for Box Hill is going to be inside and behind Mia Bartley here for the Royals, just because if, you know, their centres overlapping and overloading this left-hand side. If Sophia Sakalis, who's playing the closest to Sienna Teixeira, can get in between MLB or Urich in that space there's going to be lots of pockets to go and exploit and hopefully get behind and get the equaliser.
Essendon cleared the lines nicely here through Devin Jackson, trying to find Fujiwara, but blocked away nicely in the end there by Pekaris for Box Hill, but Bucalo throws this ball in. But you're right though, and that probably explains why too, to the Polly Waters decided to play more of a deep defensive role than what she has been all game, and that's probably the smart play there. You move Polly Water from that defensive midfield role now as a deep defender, and you move Teixeira up the park a little bit too, so it might be a bit of a smart play here from Box Hill.
Yeah, for sure. I think just trying to get their best attacking players as high as possible and close to the opposition's goal is going to as the game. Ball goes in, Teixeira! Sienna Teixeira! You put her forward and she will score. Took the words right out of our mouth. Unbelievable. Unbelievable here from Sienna Teixeira.
Goal, Box Hill United. Goal scored by number 18, Elena Teixeira.
Sienna Teixeira has joined the attacking line, started as left back in this game, and she's done super well there. It's a great finish, and it's all square here at Koskis.
It is indeed. So Teixeira with that goal, and you call it nicely there, Jono, too. Box Hill have done a really good job in putting Teixeira up forward, and that's exactly what they probably needed to do. And now she's broken the game open, and she's made this now 2 apiece between Essendon and Box Hill. 2 minutes of normal time left, and momentum now is going away the away team, you would say. And Teixeira going to stay front, and she's looking threatening. And probably, as you said, probably going to be the right matchup now for Mira Lanteri Bartley for the latter part of this game. Pass back is good here for Box Hill. Morrissey. Essendon, who had all the momentum going their way in the first half, have lost concentration. Devin Jackson from long range goes over the crossbars. Emily Harbour's going to come on for Ari Fujiwara. So a very late change in red time here for Vince Battiato and his team. But what about putting Teixeira up forward? I think it was probably a tactical announce that needed to be done earlier, but glad now that's been done for Box Hill to have Chichera up forward.
17, Emily Harbus.
As I said, I think moving Polywater down back has been a blessing for Box Hill, because then it can just sort of free up Chichera a little bit up forward, and it paid dividends and was able to score that goal to equalise things here against Essendon. Is there going to be one more twist in this game? Olacino. Box Hill looking threatening. And going to momentum their way. Bucalo, nice ball. It's great. Chance here for Sophia Sakalis. Can she get on the back end of that one? Sakalis can't get it going. And it goes left to the post. And that would have made it a fantastic comeback for Box Hill, and that would have completed the comeback. Sophia Sakalis, right intention, just unlucky there, Jono.
Big chance for Box Hill. They've had all the play in the second half of this second half here. Been very, very good. You know, Royals, sometimes the dramas and the problem that you have when you sit back and you kind of soak up pressure, you allow the other team to find their rhythm, you allow the other team to build momentum, and that's exactly what Box Hill have done. They've built momentum, great tactical switch from Kogu, the gaffer, from Box Hill to put Sienna a little bit higher and more into her preferred position, and it's paid dividends in the back in the game.
Jordan Spezza puts up the board. It's 3 minutes of added time, so we've got 3 minutes left. And it's 2-2 here, Cross Keys. Essendon were cruising in second gear for most of this game, but then Box Hill got their first goal, and then they got their second goal, and since then it's been a massive momentum shifter. Chichera cleared away nicely in the end by Essendon. Free kick to Box Hill. Free kick to be taken here by Polywater for Box Hill. And they set themselves up here, and Box Hill sense that they can win this one against Essendon. Chichera wasn't the intended thing for her, but it's won again here by Murray. Good pass. Cox. Passes now here for Olacino. Oh, it's a really good ball here. Cox going to get it inside the box. She keep possession. She can't clear away nicely. And they're keeping it inside their front third here. Sakalis here now for Box Hill. Going on a little bit of a run. She needs a bit of help. Needs a bit of assistance. Try to find Bucalo. Bit of a shove there down. And over the deck and over the top there. And it's going to be a free kick for Box Hill. It's going to be a Box Hill free kick. And the Royals fans are getting restless here across Keys. And Sophia Sakalis, she found Bucalo and she wanted her to sort of help her out a little bit too. So we'll see now what can be as we have just a small stop and play here quickly. As Polywater's just being quickly worded up about what to do. You know, it's a big moment in this match too when Teresa Morrissey's way out of her line too, so she's moved herself up the field too. So it could be one of those things in this game. Bucalo going to take the set-piece free kick here for Box Hill. They were 2-0 down against Essendon at half-time. And since then, they've scored 2 very late goals to tie things up. Bucalo. Chance here. Almost. Ball stays in. It's going to be a corner. Much to the dismay of the Royals, but that's exactly what Box Hill wanted, and Essendon are starting to get frustrated now.
Yeah, massive finish here at the end of this game. Looks like Box Hill could hopefully snatch a winner here. It will be absolute scenes for an away win. And Sophia Sakalis on a dead ball normally means something positive and something special's coming.
Sakalis from the corner kick. Box Hill pick it inside. Too much there in the end. Bucalo might retain possession here for Box Hill. Olacino. She stays in. Essendon, they've got to clear. Murray's there in the front end. And that means that Morrissey's going to have to go back inside her 18-yard box. That was out. So it stays with Box Hill. And Chichera knows there's not much time left. They want to try and get 3 points instead of 1 here at Cross Keys this afternoon. Chichera with the long ball. Headed away nicely here by the Royals. Chichera again. Trying to get through, couldn't do so. Ball will go out of touch. And Essendon, with their chance now as they halt play just a little bit there. Kendra Smith not happy with the positioning of the Royals in this one. Sakalis turns around. Did well there. Went through Kendra Smith nicely. Trying to go inside there for Olacino. And that is it. So, not the desired result for both sides. It ends this one 2-2 in the end. Shared points in the end. Essendon lead this one 2-0 at half-time. But Box Hill, through Sakalis and Chichera, did a really good job 2-2 in the end. Fantastic stuff for Box Hill to come from behind to at least snatch a point here across Keys Reserve this afternoon. Jono, final thoughts on this one. An entertaining game nonetheless.
Yeah, very entertaining game here. I think it was a game of momentum and a game of definitely two halves. And Essendon Royals took their chances early on and decided to soak up pressure. And normally it's something they do really, really well. But then Box Hill, with the quality they got, found their way into the game. And they did so through some quality from Sophia Sakalis and Senator Chera. And that's why these players back in the league now, special moments like that. And it's good to see. It was a great spectacle. I think both teams should be happy with a point because both teams probably did enough to win it. But on the day, I think it was a fair result.
Absolutely. Well, John, it's been a pleasure to call alongside you this afternoon. Hopefully we'll do it again soon. And on behalf of John and Clemente, myself, Michael Thompson, thank you so much for watching this afternoon as we close here at Cross Keys Reserve. It's Essendon Royals 2, Box Hill United 2. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. What a fantastic game we had. And, of course, make sure you follow us on the socials, Facebook, X and Instagram. And we'll see you next time for more NPLW Victoria action. And both sides leave this one sharing the points.